Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Standard Super League. I'm Andrew Cuneo here with Paul Rietzel. We're getting ready for a match between Gaby Spartz and Kenji Egashira. I believe, based on the standings, Kenji is in the same boat as me in that he's been eliminated, and he's trying to mess up Gaby's tiebreakers.
Yeah, Gaby, I love the Goblin deck that she put together. It's something that I had tried a bit before the Pro Tour Magic Origins, and this is the sort of deck where if the metagame breaks correctly, especially in a small field like this, can just be incredibly overpowering, especially if people are kind of skimping on their languishes and their bile blights.
What's your opinion on the card Obelisk of Erd?
It's a Obelisk of Erd is like the step links of Standard insofar as like I try it every single time they release a new set, and the same way I try step links in Modern, and I have not been able to kind of find a way to push it over the edge. But some of the games where you have Obelisk, especially fueled by Hordling Outburst, they're silly games, and it feels like you're playing a totally different format from your opponent. So it definitely leads to some blowouts, and clearly it has a really high just kind of baseline power level.
Yeah, I guess you were probably still testing with us when we tried it when it first came out with Soldiers, and I definitely tried it with Goblins for the last Pro Tour, and it had the same kind of reaction where it's obviously great in your really good hands. Winds up being clunky some of the time. Have you? Let's take a look at Kenji's deck, which is a green-white. I guess we're calling it white-green Megamorph. Have you tried this kind of deck at all? Okay. Well, I don't know if Paul specifically tried this deck. I know he has tried Collected Company deck in Modern, so I'm guessing he's tried something along these lines. To me, it looks like this is probably a deck that's fairly well suited to play against the Goblins deck, in that its creatures are all going to be a little bit bigger, and something like Brimaz can get out of hand pretty quickly. And then looking at the sideboard, it looks like Kenji also has 3 Irrational Clerics, which is very good against a Goblin deck, and also has, you can go up to 4 Dramoka's Commands, which can be quite good against any sort of red deck. I'm not sure if we have Paul or... Okay. We're going to be adding Randy to take Paul's place, evidently. Paul's good at Magic, not so good at computers. It's my opinion from having known him for a while. Known Randy even longer. I haven't known him to have a hard time with computers. Here we go. First name.
Hey, Andrew, this is Randy. Paul
Hello.
seems to have been dropped from the call for some reason, so I can hop back in.
Okay. We were just looking at Kenji's deck and talking about how it might match up against the mono-red Goblin Menace. Which to me, it looks like it should probably match up pretty well. It seems like it's got a lot of cheap plays that are going to be bigger than the Goblin creatures. We're still getting that match set up.
Yeah, it's pretty big stakes for Gaby here. If she wins this match, now I agree with you. I think she's an underdog to Kenji here. But if she wins, she gets a bye. She wins the group at 3-0, and she will be one of the best 2 group winners, which means she gets a bye in the playoffs next week. And if she gets a bye in the playoffs next week, then she's guaranteed to finish in the top 4, which means she qualifies for the Super League Championship coming up at the end of October.
Yeah, I have a question on how the scoring works in this whole event. I'm in the Brewers bracket. What points are awarded for brewing?
Andrew, you got all of them. The Pyromancer's Goggles deck was clearly victorious on coolness points.
So does that mean I don't have to play the first round of the playoffs?
It means, well, you don't have to play the first round of the playoffs. That part is true.
All right, good.
It also means that people will be eager to see what you bring to the next league that you get the chance to play in. All right, here we go. Gaby Spartz on Goblins, trying to run the table in the streamers group. Kenji Egashira with the green-white kind of Kibler-style Megamorph deck. Trying to get off the schneid. He does not want to end this season at 0-3, I am sure.
His hand looked keepable, but he definitely doesn't have any of the cards he really wants to see in this matchup. Like he doesn't have a Fleeceman Lion or a Bramaz.
Sure. Elf's got to be a good start, though. I guess it's the thing to accelerate into, is your point.
Yeah, Elvish Mystic's probably the best thing you can play on turn 1 in Standard. But not having anything to accelerate into is a problem.
Yeah, just has to settle for Temple.
Gaby's start is not going to be all that fast, but it's going to be really hard for Paul to beat what's going to be probably 9/3/3 Goblins.
Yeah, there's nothing Kenji can do about her just going wide, right?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have sweepers. He's a creature deck. Her creatures are going to be both more numerous and bigger than what he's up to. Man, that Obelisk of Erd is going to do some serious work this game. This game is just totally a blowout, right?
Well, the Hidden Dragon Slayer's going to have plenty of things to kill. No, I don't think Kenji can't beat this kind of draw from Gaby's deck, especially when he has this weak of a start, because he's going to get attacked by a 4/3 and a 3/3 this turn, and then just next turn it's just going to be a horde.
There is the Obelisk of Erd. All the goblins are big. All the goblins are bigger than the morph.
So what? I guess we're going to see Kenji use his Valorous Stance here to save the morph. Which I was going to say that, like, the one play he could make is he can flip up his morph and keep it around with Valorous Stance once it's a lifelinker. This is probably a little bit better.
All right, does Collected Company too little too late? Or can he recover?
Well, this turn...
I mean, there's, what, 18 power worth of goblins over there right now?
Yeah, I think that he can live through the turn, but no matter what he does, he's going to just be facing at least 3 more goblins, maybe 5 more goblins. Is that a pile driver that was just
It is Goblin pile driver.
Is that a weird art pile driver?
Yeah, it is a weird art pile driver. It's exactly what it is.
So Kenji just attacked with the Hidden Dragon Slayer because he knew he wanted to keep it around and wanted to save mana up. This is like a desperation, I hope I hit Bramaz kind of play.
He hit Nissa, Fleecemane, and
Boonslinger, I think.
Yeah. So trade, take 12?
Yeah.
I mean, do what you got to do, I guess. Oh, guess what? She's not done.
Yeah. Well, from his perspective, at least, he probably feels like he would stabilize if she actually had nothing.
Right. Right. It's the right play. Not going to work. She's still not out of goblins. This is crazy. I mean, you guys must have tested a goblin deck for the Pro Tour, right?
Yeah, we tested our testing. We had a Goblin Obelisk of Erd deck, which I've tested Obelisk of Erd decks for a lot of the Standard Pro Tours, and my experience was always that they were just too inconsistent. Like I know Gaby played against Marshall in one of the earlier matches, and I don't remember who was commentating, but they were talking about how Obelisk was a really important card against a control deck, and I always thought you actually almost had to board them out because they just did. It was too easy for the control deck to cast one sweeper, and then you couldn't play the Obelisk until like turn 10 of the game, and it just never did anything. But when you play against a person, Obelisk is great against green decks because they can't kill your creatures, and you just need to make your army huge. Like they can't interact with it at all. So anytime you curve out with it, you just beat them pretty easily. This is...
Yeah, he's fighting a good fight. Hidden Dragon Slayer gets to kill the
Yeah.
pile driver, and it's still not good enough. He's still dead anyway. Crazy. Gaby Spartz, ladies and gentlemen. Up a game, now 1 game away from 3-0ing the streamer group and clinching that bye that also earns her a spot in the championship. Wow, that was kind of cool. Now, do you think sideboarding changes this much? We should look at these sideboards, see if there's anything else going on.
If we can go to... here's Kenji's first. He has a lot of options to destroy the Obelisk of Erd if he wants to. He's got the 2 Unravel the Ethers and 3 Reclamation Sages, which I don't think he's going to bring all of those in, but
Tragic Arrogance might be good in this match, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure that that's... I think that the way Tragic Arrogance is going to play out, he'll be able to prevent the Goblin deck from winning when it goes wide unless it has an Obelisk. So I think that it might be better to just board in a couple Reclamation Sages and then probably board in all the Irration Clerics, because they do stop a lot of Gaby's creatures if there isn't an Obelisk in play.
Yeah, they wouldn't be there if you weren't planning to bring them in against Mono Red.
You could probably afford to take out the Boon Satyrs.
I'll buy that. There is an Irration Cleric in the opening draw for Kenji.
Then if we look at Gaby's hand, she has a Roast that she believed didn't have in her main deck, which that's just a solid card against the larger ground creatures, so it's an easy one to board in here.
She has all the most obscure Goblin art. Which Goblin is that for 1 mana?
I think that might be Frenzied Goblin.
That's a Frenzied Goblin with a foil swoosh in the text box. Promo card of some kind. Well, the F&M promo version of Frenzied Goblin. Got it. Yeah, Irration Cleric, though. 1-3, doing good work.
Yeah, but this Gaby has 2 Hordling Outbursts and an Obelisk in her hand again. So this is... Kenji's going to be able to put up more of a fight this game, but it's not clear how he can beat the Obelisk. Last game, Gaby just didn't attack with one of her goblins when she could have because she had an Obelisk coming. I'm glad she attacked with the Foundry Street Denizen this game. And she's a little bit stalled on lands. He's going to get to make good plays for the next several turns of the game, but it's not clear that it's going to be enough. He might be thinking about just casting the Elvish Mystic this turn so he can get the Burmaz out, but looks like he's not going to do that.
This turn is pretty good. Hordling Outburst and an Obelisk of Erd.
And she'll be able to dash a Heel Cutter next turn if she wants to, which
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that'll wind up being the best play, but she's definitely got Kenji on the back foot again.
Every Goblin trades for a real creature. 1/3 of a Hordling Outburst trades for Fleecemane Lion. Just crazy. And he can't find a 3rd land. I mean, I like this line of running out the Lions. Like, eventually you're supposed to draw that 3rd land, and then you can go Fleecemane plus Mystic.
Yeah, he might.
Yes.
We don't know exactly how he sideboarded. He might just have to play a Fleecemane Lion here and hope to draw Unravel the Ether.
He has to answer the Obelisk. I mean, your thinking during sideboarding just looks right here. If it wasn't for that Obelisk, his creatures are so much bigger than hers that, he could block, he could fight. He's at 24 here.
Yeah, there's probably no way he can actually come back. We'll have to see how he decides to block. If he leaves... Well, he doesn't have...
dead?
Uh,
Heel Cutter and Frenzied Goblin mean no blocks.
Yeah, and that's, I believe...
How much damage is that?
18. He's not quite dead, but this is going to effectively end the
Yeah,
game.
he has seen enough. He's not sure if that adds up to 24, but he's not interested in finding out. Goblin Heel Cutter, no lands for Kenji, and wow.
Yeah, I think that was 23, but there was no coming back from it.
Yeah, there's no top deck. He doesn't have the Reclamation Sage or the Unravel the Ether. He's not going to be able to kill the Obelisk. And even at that point, being down to the low single digits, just the 1/1 Goblins would be enough to kill him. The chat is blowing up with Ambush Vipers. Love it. Gaby Spartz. 3-0's the streamer group. She wins the group. She is through to the playoffs. She's through to the semifinals, in fact. And we'll see her again come October. Good for her. That's awesome.
I noticed earlier that Gerard was talking about sweating the results of my match.
He is.
You didn't break it to him that I don't think I've dealt damage yet with my deck.
he did play against you once. So he should have a little bit of a clue.
He beat me quite handily in those games.
He was loaded for you. He was like, I'm going to play Sultai Charms and Negates. I'll be ready for whatever Andrew's up to.
Yeah, I didn't when I made my deck, I didn't really fully understand who I was playing against. I should have anticipated that I was going to be playing against Ashiok if I'd realized I was playing against Gerard.
Sure.
And I could have made my deck better against Ashiok.
Fair. The way this sweat works out, by the way, I'm not sure Gerard can get the bye, even if you beat Josh, because Paul Rietzel is going to... Paul Rietzel has the best tiebreakers. I looked it up. Paul is actually the guy who's sweating your match. I don't know if he knows this yet. I mean, it's all like a mess of tiebreakers amongst 2-1 players. But I think Gerard can win the group for whatever that's worth. But it's Paul who can potentially get the bye if you manage to pull this upset.
I'm really just hoping I deal damage.
Look, everyone's rooting for you, Andrew. We want the Pyromancer's goggles to be real.
Yeah, I think Mantis Rider's another card that my deck's not going to be great against, but we'll have to see.
You can kill it. You have so many ways to kill it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like if your deck gets the right combination of lands and a goggles that sticks, the removal spell should just be able to out-card advantage anybody in glorious fashion.
Yeah, I went and watched, rewatched my match against Tom, and both of those games I was actually really close to winning, I thought.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
His draws just lined up perfectly against mine.
I agree with that. All right, well, maybe you can get one this time.
Yeah.
We believe in the Pyromancer's goggles. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with us.
Sure.
We'll be right back, guys. We do, in fact, you are up next here, right? It's you and Josh?
Yes, I believe I need to be getting ready to play.
All right, we'll let you go. Thanks for chatting with us. Stay tuned, guys. When we come back, we will see if Pyromancer's goggles can finally put it all together. Stay tuned.